Hey guys, Sean here at the Gardener Center. So I'm out back here in our nectar nook, and I can't tell you how happy I am to have this nectar nook because not only is it a really cool place to hang out and chill, we've never been able to actually grow plants here. We've only been selling plants. We've never actually had gardens or anything. So one of the main reasons we did this was so we can talk about things together throughout the growing season, procedures, problems, things that develop. So we have real world tomato situations going on here today that I want to share with you. So we're going to talk about three things today. This tomato has been planted here for about 3 weeks now, and it's cranking. I mean, we've got a lot of rain this year, and these guys are really pushing a lot of growth. So it's time to prune this tomato a little bit. So I'm going to go over pruning tomatoes today. Number two, we have a nice 54-inch tomato cage on here, but this is a cherry tomato, and these are big beastly plants. So it's going to need way more than this 54-inch tomato cage to keep it upright for the growing season. So I'm going to show you also how to properly stake your tomatoes in the cage. And thirdly, since it's June and then we're in Connecticut, and if you've gardened for more than 5 minutes in Connecticut in June, you've probably discovered aphids on plants before. So we got a little bit of aphid situations going on our tomatoes out here in the nectar nook. So I'm going to show you a real simple way to get rid of aphids without using any kind of spray whatsoever, albeit organic or not. I'm going to show you how to get rid of aphids permanently and for good with just your garden hose, so stick around. All right, guys, so let's get into pruning tomatoes a little bit. So something that I really like to do with these guys, I mean, this guy is healthy and robust, but what I don't like all this growth down at the bottom here. A lot of tomato diseases and other ailments that they suffer from, and if you've grown them before, you know about it. A lot of those often start at the bottom and work their way up the plant throughout the season. So I like to go in early on like this, after the tomatoes had a few weeks to get established and to grow. I like to go in and start thinning out all of this growth at the bottom. So, and guys, please don't be scared of what you're about to see here, because I may even end up cutting a few tomatoes off, but it's all good. This is for future success in the season. So I'm going to go in and I'm just going to start removing a bunch of this growth from low down here on the plant. Because what I want to do, I want to open up the bottom of this plant to let air circulation get through here. So we're going to go through and we're going to remove a lot of these leaves. You know, it's already starting to open up a little bit, and here goes some tomato flowers, but that's okay. Don't be scared. It's all good. I'm going to go up in here and get rid of some of these guys. So the idea is to, as you can probably see already, is to open up this bottom part of the plant. I don't like any leaves touching the soil or the mulch in this case. We really want this to be open. And guys, here's some tomatoes right here, but you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and nix those. There'll be plenty more, trust me. This is a cherry tomato, so there'll be plenty more of those. But I'm gonna go through and just take a few more of these off, like so, because we want nice, good air circulation moving through the bottom of this plant. So right now, I'm pretty happy with what we got here. So I'm going to let that be good for now. And as the season goes on, I'm going to probably go up even a little higher. But here, this is where we want to be as far as clearing out the bottom. And you know what? I'm even going to get rid of this one. We'll open it up a little bit more. So I like to keep this area open at the bottom here. And then, guys, you'll also get little leaves and shoots that may be growing to the inside of the plant and the shady and the dark there. So it's also good to get in and kind of thin out the center here a little bit, because a lot of tomato diseases are caused by poor air circulation. So we want to open up the interior a little bit too. And that's, you know, leaves that are growing into the inside of the plant. We want the leaves growing to the outside. We don't want the leaves growing inside. So go through and remove those. And I know that may look scary, but it's going to help later on, because it's going to help to prevent a lot of leaves. So if you haven't gotten out there yet and removed the bottom leaves from your tomato plants, feel free to do it. It's a beautiful day. We got a couple beautiful days ahead coming, so get out there and clear out the bottoms of your tomatoes. All right, guys, so now that we've taken care of the pruning on the lower part of the tomato here, we're going to talk about getting some proper staking on here, because trust me, this tomato cage is not going to be enough. The reason you want to have stakes, so many people just do this, and I'm going to tell you about something really heartbreaking that's going to happen if you don't use these stakes. Because these tomatoes are going to get tall, they're going to get really heavy with fruit, a lot of weight. You may have 10 or 15 pounds of tomatoes hanging on here in July and late in July and August. And what's going to happen is we're going to get one of those afternoon thunderstorms in the summertime where we get that 30-second, 40-mile-an-hour wind gust, and you're going to come home and your tomatoes are going to be on the ground. And there's nothing sadder than that after you've babied and coddled your tomatoes for a month to come home from work and find them laying on the ground just as they were getting ready to pick. So you've got to use some sturdy stakes. And I know these stakes look ridiculously big, but trust me, they're not. This is a 6-foot stake. I have the 54-inch tomato cage here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take this 6-foot stake, I'm going to stick it straight down on the inside of this cage, and then I like to come out on the bottom of the cage when I get down to the bottom. So I'm on the inside for the top 3 tiers, and then I come out onto the outside on the bottom. And then you want to stick this in the ground as deep as you possibly can. That's why we're using 6-foot stakes, because the deeper it's in the ground, the sturdier it's going to be. So now I have it, the stakes on the inside and the outside of the tomato cage. And what you really want to do, the stakes alone are good, but what makes it even better is picking yourself up a pack of these cable ties, these twist ties or zip ties. And what we really want to do, just so nothing moves around the stake, around the cage, zip it nice and tight like so. And then just to be neat, I like to snip off the end of the cable like that. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing on the second tier here. Again, I'm going to go around the stake, I'm going to go around the cage, and I'm going to pull that nice and tight to that stake. And voila, we have a stake in here. But one isn't enough. You guys want to use at least 2. I always do 3, so I have 2 more ready to go here. But 54-inch tomato cage, 3 6-foot stakes in the ground as deep as you can go, zip tied nice and tight to the cage, you're good to go. All right, guys, and I saved the least pleasant topic for last here. We have some aphids on our tomatoes. It's not uncommon at all. Aphids get into everything at this time of year. As far as insects go, it's not the biggest deal in the world, and they're really relatively easy to get rid of. I'm not even going to use a spray today, organic spray or any type of spray at all. All I'm going to use is this garden hose. Aphids, let me find a nice way to put this. Aphids are not incredibly sophisticated insects. They're where they are is where their eggs hatch. So the adults lay their eggs on the tips of the plants. You're almost always going to find your aphids at the very tips of the growth. They like the succulent, tender, new growth. They're almost always there. The older, more mature foliage is a little too tough for them to stick their menacing little mouth parts through. So you almost always find them on the tips of the growth. And we've got quite a few here, but if we take them off the plant, they don't have any ability to get back on again because they don't fly. They walk, but not much. They have a very limited mobility for sure, and we'll see if we can kind of get a better shot of them here. Here's a group of them here. This happens to be some red ones. Aphids are typically green. You may also find red ones. You may find black ones. You may find orange ones. You may find yellow ones. These happen to be red. And what I'm going to do very carefully here, because I've never played with a live hose while we're filming before, so I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to get rid of aphids with your garden hose. And this isn't just tomatoes. This could be any plant that you have in your garden with aphids on it. And this is especially true, guys, if you grow milkweed. You may know about those orange aphids that always get in your milkweed every year. And the last thing you want to do with your milkweed is use a spray because you could hurt the caterpillar, the monarch caterpillar. So this is a great technique also for your milkweed. So I'm going to get a forceful stream of water here. You know, not so forceful that it's going to break the plant, but just forceful enough that I can wash the aphids off with it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my hand behind this foliage right here, and I'm going to take the water, and I'm going to support the leaf with my hand so that it doesn't get ripped off the plant. But guys, you can see already those aphids are gone. The aphids are gone already. Where they went, who cares? Because they're not getting back to where they just came from, and their days are numbered. So if you feel like getting out in the garden for a bit, I mean, I kind of find this relaxing for some reason. I don't know why, but I do. But if you want to go out and, I like to call it power washing your plants. If you want to go out and power wash the aphids off of your plants, I encourage you to do that. Just keep in mind, tomatoes, if you can avoid getting their foliage wet overnight. That's great because they are susceptible to some diseases. So this is a great thing to do in the morning, or a great way to cool off on a hot afternoon because you're going to get wet yourself too. So guys, aphids, not a big deal. Grab the garden hose and get rid of them.